One of the questions we get often a lot is, what does it mean to engage students, or what does youth leadership mean? And it's a great question because it takes so many different forms. Um, Too many people have what we call a tokenist approach to youth engagement. So that means that you put two students on the advisory board for the school, or you bring them into a board meeting once in a while, or whatever it is, and you give them not only unclear expectations of the influence that they will have, but also not a fair starting point for participating in the processes. Like, they don't know necessarily how to engage in a board meeting, like, if they don't have any previous training, and they also don't know how much their word will how much value will be put to their word, or how much actual power they will hold in a situation. So one of the most important things is to first be clear on what is the mandate that we give these youth, and then be transparent with them. It's okay that it's not always equal. Like, it might be that you're creating a process and you want youth voice. And that doesn't necessarily mean that their voice will be equally powerful to yours, or some teachers or some leaders in a school. But if you tell them that they're only there to give input, then that's still youth integration. But if you don't tell them and they think that they are, then they might even be discouraged from youth leading initiatives in the future. And that could be an adverse effect to that young person. So clarity and transparency is the first important role, is the first important part of it. Secondly, you want to make sure that the students or the young people that you ask to participate has the appropriate skill set to participate. So, for example, when we lead our trainings, we always make sure that there's a youth component, and we always bring in students at a very highly discounted rate, because they can learn the same things that adults can learn. We just often don't credit them with that. So when they have the same training, then they can engage in more equal conversation, and therefore their ideas will be much more clear. So one example of this is, I've visited probably way over 50 schools all over the world, and asked students, what do you want to see change in your school? And the first thing they'll always say is, well, I just want a bigger football field, or we want longer recess. But once you've worked with them for a couple of days and they understand more of the system of their school, they understand how their subjects are created, they understand the political structure, they understand what's possible, what's not possible, and all of these things, then they begin to give answers such as, well, I would like my teacher to have a better relationship with me. Or I would like to be, asked how I learn things. Or I would like to, whatever it is, something that's more deep and something that is more appropriate in this kind of work. So, and it's not to say that longer recess is a bad idea. I think that's usually a pretty good idea as well. But that's our take on youth involvement.